everyone. Welcome back to the Related Podcast. I am your host, Amanda, and I am so excited to chat with you guys today because honestly, I have been just so inspired lately and feeling on almost like a high on life, obviously, now that we are in this new year energy. I think I said last week how I don't like to really subscribe to the bullshit belief of like new year, new me, like have to wait all this time in order to like make the changes. Although right now that we are in a new year, I think that it's a great time to embrace that energy. So interesting because I was actually on a call this morning with my students. We were doing our business coaching and someone was sharing how like this new year, new energy, all the things are manifesting and it's just been so amazing. And I have to remind you guys, when things start manifesting for you and when your reality starts to become the thing that you are desiring most, it is because of the actions that you have consistently put into place leading up to that. It's not just like all of a sudden January 1st, 2023 happens and like, opportunity came and knocking on the door. It was because all the work that you put into yourself, your mindset, your growth, the actions that you're taking leading up into that point. So I just want to, remind everybody that you don't have to wait for a new year or a new week or a new day in order to make changes to better your life, to create that life beyond your wildest dreams. You could choose any time, any day. Your diet doesn't have to start on Monday and your resolutions don't have to start in the next year. You get to start doing that at any point in time, whenever you're ready. And now is always the best time to start. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about your thought cycle and breaking through limiting beliefs and disempowering thoughts, because one of the most important steps in manifesting the reality that you desire is to essentially bring awareness to your current reality's thought patterns. Because the reason why things may not be manifesting for you is because of the thoughts happening behind the scenes, and our thoughts essentially create our reality. And I cannot reiterate this enough for you, but literally the more you think the thoughts that you think, the more you're going to start to see things around you that either reaffirm those thoughts or essentially bring them into like reality for you. So like if you're constantly thinking the negative, then you're going to see things around you that are negative. And if you're constantly thinking positive, then you're going to start seeing things around you that are positive. And it's all about how you say the things that you think. So we want to shift the way we think our thoughts in a way that supports our desired results, obviously, right? So we want to create confidence and focus on the solution when it comes to dealing with negative thoughts and those like stinking thinking patterns. It's actually called a reframe. So our thoughts influence our feelings influence our behaviors influence our results, right? So all of these things are interconnected. And the first step is kind of thinking about like what that thought is. Also, history lesson or like side note, did you know that your brain or your mind thinks like 60,000 plus thoughts per day, and 95 to 99% of those thoughts are on repeat on a daily basis, which is so crazy. First of all, that our mind is even capable of thinking that many thoughts, but even more insane and amazing and all of the things is like you have the power to change the way you think at any time. But in order to do this, we have to first create awareness. Awareness will allow you to understand your current state of thinking so you can take the steps to start thinking different thoughts, right? So you want to think about what those thoughts are that you want to stop thinking so that you can start to think different thoughts instead. Here's a little tip for manifesting 101. We have no idea what thoughts we're thinking until we start to write them down and start to choose new thoughts instead. Because of the repetition of thoughts, we begin to manifest things that we don't want instead of all the things that we do want. So you may think that you're like doing the work or you're doing all the journaling and the meditating and all the things, but if you're not actually taking action to feel new feelings and think new things, then you're going to keep attracting the things that you don't want because of your autopilot. Basically the autopilot is like the 60,000 thoughts a day, 95 to 99% of those are on repeat. So if you want different repetitive thoughts, we need to change the autopilot that's running in the background, right? So it's time to start making our minds essentially do what we do with our phones and our internet history. We need to clear out the fucking history, turn off the location running in the background, and start doing something about it. Okay. So basically what I want you to do is I want you to think of the different things that you want to be thinking instead. Okay. So what are the thoughts that you would like to think? What are the empowering thoughts that are going to support your outcome? Given the empowering thought, then what is the likely outcome going to be? So I was talking about this earlier today on another one of my trainings that I was doing. And I really, really, really think that this is honestly one of the most important things that you can do in your I guess, journey to manifesting the life beyond your wildest dreams, essentially, is taking a second to understand what we're thinking and how we're thinking it and the words that we're saying, because essentially the words that we say are going to either create the reality that we want or subconsciously sabotage our success because we're using language that essentially undermines our own ability to create our outcome. So whatever direction your words lead, your mind and body is going to follow. And if we use negative language about ourselves, then our mind is going to wrap around this negative language and start to reaffirm all of this stuff all around you, is what I was saying earlier. But if we begin to think about the positive opposite, it will help to affirm that reality instead. So if you're saying like, I don't want to feel anxious, like it might seem like an empowering thought to have, right? But when you say, I don't want to feel anxious, then our mind's thinking anxious. It's like if I tell you don't think of the blue tree, then we're thinking blue tree. So you want to think about where you want your GPS to go. So like if you were to say, I don't want to go to New Jersey, but where do you want to go instead? So you want to plug in the exact end destination. So I want to feel empowered, or I want to go to New York. So the fact that we're putting those things into our GPS map instead is going to create a whole new redirection for our thoughts, for our thought cycle, because whenever we think what we want to think or go towards where we want to go, essentially we follow that. So if I'm saying I don't want to feel anxious, then the thoughts associated with anxiety are going to be overwhelm, or maybe I don't want to, sit at my desk all day, or I don't want to go home and do 19 loads of laundry, or whatever that is. And it's going to create like these feelings of lack and scarcity. And essentially the actions and the behaviors associated with that are going to be backward moving behaviors. But if we instead say like, I don't want to feel anxious, well, what do you want to feel instead? I want to feel empowered. Well, that's going to create a whole new thought cycle, a whole new trajectory, a whole new outcome for you, right? So I want to feel empowered. Well, how do you feel when you say that? I feel freaking incredible, actually, when I say I want to feel empowered, right? I feel like I could take on the world. I feel like a leader. I feel like I could inspire others. I feel like I could do things that are really fucking awesome, right? So when we think about it that way, well, then what actions are you going to take? A whole lot of actions that support me being a fucking leader, a whole lot of actions that create consistency, and those consistent behaviors create the results that we want, right? So the mind often acts as a way to protect us. So when the conscious mind is active, it's not going to let anything through that it doesn't essentially believe or trust. So if you essentially go straight to, I am empowered, then your mind might send off like sirens or alerts that it's just like, we do not believe this. I am not feeling empowered. This is not true for me. All we have to do instead is just say, I want to feel empowered. So when you want to feel empowered and when you want to feel a certain way, that's actually a truth statement, right? This is true for you. So it's going to integrate. So your conscious mind will allow you to integrate that because you do want to feel that way and it is true for you. And it's not just saying like, just think positive or just change the thought pattern. It's actually like, this is how you want to be feeling instead. Have you ever had someone just be like, just think positive? You fucking want to kill them, right? Just kidding. You want to like karate chop them or drop kick them or something because you're like, obviously, I just want to think positive. So these are some steps that you can take in order to help you think positive and like to change the outcome of your reality through thinking different thoughts and changing the words that you say to yourself. With that, I want you to think about how you want to be feeling instead, because that's going to change your entire outcome. What is the empowering thought or belief that you would like to think instead? Given that empowering thought, what do you think is now present for you? What feelings are now going to be present for you? And given those feelings, what actions are you going to take as a result of those new feelings being present? So a couple of months ago, I had like, so I don't experience anxiety on a daily basis. And I know that I'm like really blessed for that. And I also think anxiety is like really it has been normalized in society in a very negative way where like you talk to people and I feel like every single person you talk to is like, yeah, I deal with anxiety. And like, yes, that might be true. And there's also like people who are clinically diagnosed with anxiety and like need to seek treatment for it too. So like, yeah, I understand like there's people who get like anxious and that's totally fine and all the things. And like, I am blessed that I am not regularly an anxious person. And when I do experience anxiety about certain things, I am so lucky that I have the tools to help myself with that. And that's what I hope to share through this, like through the podcast and through teaching you guys like different mindset tips and tricks. But there was a couple months ago where I was literally like experiencing like all of these negative thoughts on repeat in my mind. I was laying in bed. I couldn't sleep. I was laying next to Brett and he couldn't sleep because I couldn't sleep because I'm never the person who can't sleep. I'm like, that's just not my story. It's not an issue for me. And when it does happen, like I know I need to like recheck myself, check it before it gets out of control. And basically I was like, okay, we're going to do something about this. I have tons of tools in my arsenal. Like, let's go downstairs. Let's figure this shit out. And instead of doing what I'm teaching you guys right now, or what I'm talking to you guys about right now, I ended up binge watching Revenge. Literally will never forget this because it was like something that is just, you have those moments that you just remember like all the details for. Like this was one of them. I laid on the couch. I was binge watching Revenge. Like, never ever recommend doing that because Revenge is one of those shows that makes you feel even more anxiety, especially when you're feeling anxiety. It's probably not the best thing to do. But anyway, it's what I did. And then I was like, stop it. Just like, stop it. Like, pattern interrupt. No more. Let's do something about this shit. And I sat there on my phone and I started to craft a text message to Brett because nobody else wants to hear from me at 1:00 in the morning. And I started to write down all of the thoughts that were coming in my mind and what was I willing to do about it, or what was I wanting to change, and how can I use this as information to actually remind myself that it's not true. Like what I'm feeling is not true. Like you are not your beliefs and you are not your thoughts, just like you are not your situation or circumstance. Okay. It's okay to be human and experience humanness and have human thoughts. And it's also what we do about them once they start coming in. So I started to create awareness around the thoughts coming in because I just didn't know what was keeping me up at night. Like you can't change your thoughts unless you know the thoughts that you're thinking, and you can't change your outcome unless you do something about it, right? Like you have the choice to bring awareness to these things. It's like you can't, have you ever heard like the saying where like you can't unsee something, but once you see it, you can't unsee it type of thing? But you can like be blissfully unaware and like totally unaware that like all of these things are going on behind the scenes. But like once you create awareness, like it becomes your responsibility to make the change. So here's your gentle reminder to let's create awareness. Let's make some changes, because you deserve to live the life beyond your wildest dreams. You deserve to live the life that you are dreaming about. You deserve to feel happy. You deserve to feel success. You deserve to feel joy and abundance and gratitude and all of these amazing things, because like you are you, and you are one with the universe, and you are infinitely powerful, and you deserve to totally embody and embrace that. But anyway, I was laying on the couch that night and I started to craft a text message to Brett with all the thoughts that were coming in. And the first thought that like kept repeating in my mind was that nobody likes me. Okay. It was like this thought that came in, and I was subscribing to this belief that nobody likes me. This thought was like just there. And I'm like, what the fuck is this thought? And like, why does this keep coming through? And not only did that thought come in, what we as humans happen to do sometimes is like go down the rabbit hole of like, once we think this thought, like all of the potential outcomes of what this thought means for us, right? So nobody likes me. Okay, great. Nobody likes me. Well, if nobody likes me, no one's going to enroll in my programs, and no one's going to want me as their coach, and nobody is going to want to take any of my courses. And if nobody wants to hire me as their coach or take any of my courses, then I'm not going to make any money. And if I don't make any money, I'm going to have to go back to my corporate job. And if I have to go back to my corporate job, I'm going to be working 24/7 again. And if I'm working 24/7 again, I'm not going to be there for my kids. And if I'm not there for my kids, then I'm going to be a shitty mom. So it was like that rabbit hole. And I know I am not the only person to have ever experienced that, because here we have a framework that works every single time. And every time I talk to students about all this, you're like, oh my gosh, aha moment, because it fucking works. So first thought was nobody likes me. And the first thing I want you guys to do when you're thinking a thought that comes in and that's like totally not like supporting you or bringing you forward or propelling you towards that reality that you want. Like, I don't want to be thinking that nobody likes me. Do you want to think that nobody likes you, or whatever that fucking thought is that's like so super disempowering? No, I want to feel like I inspire people. I want to feel like that people love me. I want to feel like people adore me. I want to feel like people want to learn from me. I want to feel like that leader. And saying that, like, do you notice how the energy changes, right? Like, I don't want to feel like nobody likes me. If I say I don't want to feel like nobody likes me, like that also sucks. And I mean, at the same time, when you're saying it, it's I don't want to feel this way, which is great, but we don't want to focus on how we don't want to feel. We want to focus on how we want to feel. Okay. That's the game changer. That's what creates the energetic shift. That's what's going to create a totally new reality for you. It's great that you don't want to feel that way, right? It's great that you don't want to feel stressed, and you don't want to feel overwhelmed, and you don't want to feel like nobody likes you, and you don't want to feel a lack of confidence. Great. But that's not going to be the thing that moves the needle. What's going to move the needle for you is when you start to focus on how you want to feel instead. Okay. And what's also going to move the needle for you is when you start to discount and discredit any of those negative thoughts that are coming in that are making you feel a certain way. So I was feeling like nobody likes me. That is not true. People like me. Nobody is like an overgeneralization. I'm saying like nobody in the fucking world likes me. That's not true, right? Like that is like an immediate like, well, let me make a list of all the people who do like me. Well, I was laying in bed next to Brett, and he happens to love me. I think. I mean, he's my husband. I'm married to him. We fucking love each other, right? Like he's my soulmate. I would hope he loves me. I know you love me, Brett. I know you're probably not listening to the podcast, not your thing. But my son adores me. My mom loves me. My sister loves me. I have clients who adore me and love me. Like all of these things, like it's just a matter of going through what the thoughts are, what we're making them mean, and then discrediting it. Okay. That's going to be a major game changer for you. Not only discredit it, but how do you want to feel instead? And I can't reiterate that enough, because we can focus on the negative and how we don't want to feel that. But how you want to feel instead is going to create an entirely new feeling for you. So I don't want to feel like nobody likes me. That sucks. I don't want to feel that way, right? But like, that's so low energy. I want to feel like the leader that I'm born to be. I want to feel like I inspire millions of people. That feels awesome, right? When I feel that way, I do different things. I show the fuck up, okay? I look at people who are role models who inspire me and the things that they're doing. Total side note, in neuro-linguistic programming, is obviously the thing that I teach. I fucking love it. There's like this foundational theory or thought process, or thought, whatever you want to call it, that like modeling excellent behavior is something that can help you to achieve like unlimited success. So whenever I am thinking of these negative thoughts that I don't want to feel, and the thoughts that I want to feel instead, or the feelings that I want to feel instead, I think of people who must feel that way. And I use them as like a compass, and like as a version of my higher self, to think, okay, well, what's this person feeling, and how do they feel that way? And what are the things that they do on a regular basis? Because modeling that excellent behavior is going to help me feel that way, right? So this is so much fun to do. It's definitely an ongoing process, because we have to continuously take a look at the different thoughts that we're thinking and the different feelings that we're feeling, so that we can make real changes. So I want you to think about, what is the desired belief or the desired thought that you ultimately want to experience? And another way to look at this is like, what is the truth of your higher self? What is the truth of your Posh Spice self? Who is this version of you, and what do they believe? So I want to believe that I have all the love in the world. I want to believe that I am admired by tons of people. I want to believe that I am loved. Okay, so that's amazing. What are the actions that you take when you are somebody who wants to believe this? Well, it's going to be a lot different than the actions that you take if you are thinking the thoughts of nobody likes you, right? So the point of this is to essentially take your thoughts and put in the exact one that you want to be feeling instead, and plug it into your GPS, because it will help you to create this entirely new reality. And again, like, your GPS is taking you to where you want to go, not where you don't want to go. All right. So if I haven't said it enough, then I'll say it again. Like, what you want to be feeling, and it's essentially the thoughts, or the like the theory of like, focus, what you focus on grows, or where your energy goes, your energy flows, or there's all the jargony things, right? But it's true. It's so true. It's so simple. And I think what it all comes down to, and what's so exciting about all of these things that I'm bursting from the seams, I can't wait to teach you guys all of these things. I'm so happy you're listening. So happy you're here. But what it all comes down to is like, you get to decide, and you get to choose how you want to feel. And it doesn't have to take weeks and months and years to feel that way. Like, you can choose that now. Like, you have a choice. You get to decide. And that's the most beautiful thing about it, because I used to think that there had to be like some arrival at like, this manifestation, or it had to be something that would allow me to then make the next step. Like, you can choose it right now. Like, you don't have to wait until all of the stars align in order to, feel better, do something for yourself. You can choose that right now. You deserve it. And your life beyond your wildest dreams is literally one thought away. Okay, so let's start thinking of the thoughts that are no longer serving you. I want you to make a list inside of a journal, and make a list of all those thoughts that no longer serve you, and how you want to be feeling instead, and the actions that you're going to take that support those thoughts, feelings, and beliefs for you. Okay, with those actions, create results. And with those results, create your reality. So I am so excited that you guys are here. You're listening to the podcast. I want to hear your thoughts. Please, if you loved this, send a review, like, comment, subscribe. I know we're streaming on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts. So excited to be here to be sharing all of the knowledge and all of the information that I have with you guys. These are going to be quick sprint podcasts between 20 and 45 minutes each week. I can't wait to bring on tons of incredible guests that are going to be talking with you guys as well about how they manifested their life beyond their wildest dreams, because that's what it all comes down to. The life beyond your wildest dreams is literally one choice away, and you fucking deserve it. Make that choice. Do something different for yourself today. And to end today's episode, you are you, and that is your superpower. So I hope you guys have the best ever day, the best ever week. I will talk to you all next week. I love you all. Mwah! And I will see you next time. Bye.